Hey y'all. So, this is Trish for another episode of Echoes Through the Ethers, Beyond the Root to the Seed. And tonight I am coming with another share. Take a deep breath on this one. So, I decided to do a share because I recognized some details when it comes to human development that I wanted to discuss. And so this share is going to be about that. Okay. So, I haven't yet named this share yet. I'll name it after. But this specific share, I was watching a video on YouTube, and there was this lady. She was shopping in Target. A black lady. She was shopping in Target, and she was at the stage where she was paying for her items at the self checkout section. And she was a nurse. She had on her blue scrubs, the dark blue scrubs. You know, dark blue scrubs is symbolic for, nurse. That's their color. CNA is green, and the text um, and assistance in the emergency room is like maroon. Yeah, so everybody's got different colors, and that's how you could tell who is who. The doctors wear the white lab coats, whatever, whatever, whatever. So this lady was checking out, and the people who were in the back, like the security, the police, or whatever, were in the back room, and they were monitoring her, checking her stuff out. And the lady, hold on one second, y'all. Hello?
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's okay. Let me call you right back because I'm recording.
Okay.
Okay. Call you
All
back in a minute. Okay. So, the lady was checking out, and she was like scanning her stuff, like doubling stuff up, scanning this object, which was cheaper than this object, and she was putting them both in the bag. And the police and the staff there at Target was seeing her do this. And so they came out and they pulled her to the back of the store. She was like, "What is this for? What is this for? I don't understand. What did I do?" And they were telling her she was stealing, and she was like, "What? I'm a nurse. I would never, whatever, whatever." And the guy was like, "Ma'am, you have been doing this a lot. This is just the first time that I decided that I had enough. You have done this multiple times. I have you on camera where you have consistently stole and did things, and you come back and you do it again and again and again. You've done this multiple times, and honestly, I've let you get away with it so many times, and you just keep coming back. I can understand if you had a situation, scenario. No, you just keep doing it." And so this guy was like, sorry, y'all, I'm thirsty. I'm drinking this coconut water. But the guy was like, just like telling her, it was a white guy, you know what I mean? And she was like constantly denying. And then when they showed her the footage or whatever of her doing it, she was like, "I apologize. I'll just pay for it. I'll just pay for it. I can't go to jail for this. You guys can't write me up. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job. I can't do this." And she was just like hysterical, crying. "I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm like you guys. I'm on the front line," like trying to do everything that she can. Okay? That's one scenario and situation that made me wanted to do this particular talk and share. The second scenario and situation, I was scrolling past a video on my social media. I can't remember if it was Facebook or Instagram, really doesn't matter, but it was of Cardi B. And Cardi B was doing a video. I guess she had got her kids dressed or whatever, and she had her daughter stand in front of the camera, and she was like, recording her daughter or whatever. And then she got to her son, and she was like recording him, and she was like, "Yeah, you a fly ass little nigga." And her son was like, "Oh, mommy, don't say that," and he runs off or whatever. And that was the second one that made me want to do this. So, pretty much what this share is about, you can take a person out of certain physical circumstances that they used to have, but that doesn't mean because they make a physical shift that the mind shifts with the physical body. That's not what happens. So, a lot of times, the way that the world teaches us and raises us is say, put the physical work in. You go to school, you go to college, you do this, you become a celebrity, or you get the good paying job that you're making over six figures now, or you become this celebrity, or you become this nurse. Because these two people, Cardi B and this nurse, both are symbolic of two people who used to be in survival mode, and something shifted where they're now in thriving mode, right? So the nurse went from probably nine times out of 10, she went from struggling, from living in the hood, probably the projects, right? And she graduated from nursing school. She became a nurse. Beautiful. A success story, right? Cardi B, she come from the hood, stripping, strip clubs, robbing, stealing, killing, doing escort services, all that kind of stuff. She come from that. And now she's a high paid celebrity, right? So she went from having nothing to having an abundance of financial security. Both of these people went from survival mode to thriving mode. But what I'm saying is, just because their physical bodies made this shift doesn't mean that their mental bodies made the shift with the physical body. So their mental bodies is still located in survival mode. Those mental bodies are still located in the hood. Those survival bodies, those mental bodies is still located in the hood. It's still located in that strip club. It still has they still have the same mindset working over and over again. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so a lot of the choices and decisions that they make still come from that space, because where do we make our decisions at? In our choices, right? We contemplate in our minds. So if your mindset is still located there, then you're going to make a decision and a choice that's going to come from survival mode, not from thriving mode. This is where my grandma used to always say this: you can take the hoe out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the hoe. Or you can take the hoe and make her into a housewife, but that don't mean that you can take the hoe out of here. We used to always hear that when we were younger, growing up. And I didn't understand the concept of what that truly meant until I got older now, and I see a lot of things. Also, I'm going to use myself as an example as well. I've had multiple situations where I did the physical work. I made physical shifts in my life where I worked really hard to make physical changes. Once I make the physical changes, I recognized that once I got the very thing that I thought I wanted, I got in that space, and then I contemplated in my mind, and I got to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I struggled mentally in those circumstances and situations because I was only considering my physical circumstances shifting. I was not considering my mental, if I could handle this mentally. I did not do, I did not take account for how was this going to mentally affect me once I made said shift. And I recognized a lot of situations I struggled. Like I used to work for a hospital and I was thinking about the money. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be making so much good money when I start working for this place, right? And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. All I was thinking about was the money, the clout, people seeing me in my scrubs, me getting to this. I'm like, yes, I'm finna be that girl. I'm finna be this. I'm finna be that. Like, I was only thinking about those things, but I did not think about how the environment was going to fit or not fit with my mental, my mindset. I did not consider the mindset shift that I needed to do to maintain sustainability without burnout in that circumstance. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know, this is like a call to action, I guess, to help people consider things. Consider yourself, not just your physical circumstances, but consider your mental, consider your emotional. You understand? How is this going to affect me mentally? How is this going to affect me emotionally? Am I going to be able to survive in these circumstances? Am I going to be able to sustain these circumstances? Are these circumstances in alignment with who I am here? Are these circumstances in alignment with who I am sacral chakra emotionally? How is my emotional body going to deal with these circumstances? And if it's not automatically going to be able to deal with it, if I do take on these physical circumstances, how can I work on my emotional self? Or how can I develop my emotional self or shift my mindset so that I am whole while I am here? This is about wholeness, because what I'm talking about is how sometimes we leave, um, how sometimes we leave pieces of ourselves behind. So let's take that nurse for an example. She physically moved forward, but mentally she left a piece of her mind behind. She left her emotional body behind. All of her did not shift into that new world. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's interesting because a lot of times, and this is how I see it, because I really sit back and I observe so many different things, right? And just looking at these circumstances and looking at people and how we are challenged as beings on this planet, I truly feel from just my observations and analyzing and connecting patterns and details of just looking and computing all of these things and connecting, that we've been doing it the wrong way. I'm sorry. If you cannot make the mental shifts first and move your mind to where you want to be, and then the emotional shifts and move your emotions and your mind need to arrive where you physically want to be first before you even move your physical body to that place. I've personally been practicing this very thing because I'm experimenting with myself. I am experimenting with myself. I am getting ready to shift into something new. And I decided that what I wanted to do was I wanted to first make the mental shifts, the emotional shifts, then the physical shifts to see if I want to be able to do that way because I want to be balanced and I want to show up in my whole self in my new endeavors that I'm getting ready to start. And so I've been doing the mental alchemy. I've been doing the emotional alchemy that needs to happen prior to me even getting to there physically. So my physical shift won't even take place until September, mid September. So, no, beginning of September. So I've been working these last 2.5 months. I've known what I'm finna get ready and do in September. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on my mental and emotional to prepare myself for these physical shifts that are coming. You understand where I'm coming from? Because I'm like trying to, I've done it the backwards way, where I've did the physical shifts and then later try to pull the mind and emotions, and that just don't work because there's certain things that you have to focus on physically where you don't have the time or the capacity to be able to do something like that. So I'm trying it the other way. Like, let me pull my mind over here. Let me pull my emotions over here and do certain things where I can adjust myself before I even get there. Right? And so I wanted to talk about this because I'm like, damn, do people realize how hard it is on your mental and your emotional body when you don't do the the proper work that needs to be done to prepare yourself? Like, I mean, some of these things I never heard of anybody talk about anything like this personally. I never heard anybody call something like this out from my personal experience at all. And so, me talking about it, it's just something that I recognize. It's a detail about human behavior, human life, human experiences, human growth and development that we all experience. But has anybody ever recognized it? Have anybody ever identified it before? Well, from me just sitting back and observing shit, I observed it and I called it out and I identified it. Like, damn, this is where I struggled at. This is where, and I see it in other people. The beauty is when I'm looking at YouTube videos, videos on social media, I do like to look at those things. And the reason why is not for entertainment. I don't look at them for the same purpose and reason that everybody else does. I look at them for my own understanding, growth, and development. It's kind of like a black mirror or a looking glass. I utilize other people's experiences and stories as like a looking glass into where it helps me see myself. It helps me see humans and the shit that we struggle with. And I just observe in a different way. I analyze details that people just usually pass over. Like most people in the comment section of the lady who was the nurse who was at Target doing that was like, oh my God, is she serious? She get paid like over $50 an hour. Why is she stealing? Why is she this? Why is she that? It had nothing to do with her physical circumstances. Honestly, it has to do with the mental alchemy. This lady never mentally alchemized her situation and her scenario. It had nothing to do with finances. She had more than enough money. That wasn't the thing. And I know some people who go in a store with a pocket full of money and come out still stealing because it's past of physical circumstances. Some people ain't even poor. Some people ain't even struggling. Some people that made it out the fucking hood, but they still steal because it's a mindset thing. They haven't shifted their mindset to their new circumstances. There's a city that's not too far from the ghetto or the city in my where I live at in my state. I live in Minnesota, and so you got St. Paul, and then I say about 20 minutes from St. Paul, is Woodbury, Minnesota. And Woodbury, Minnesota is like its own little community. Like, you don't need to go outside of Woodbury to go do shit. Okay? They got their own clinics, grocery stores, restaurants, multiple gas stations, businesses like Costco's, the big, big box, what do you call them? Oh my gosh. Costco, Sam's Club, the big box grocery stores where you can get bulk stuff at. They got multiple. They got the cable service company out there. I mean, everything is out there, right? You got these big dumbass houses out there, and you got them all sectioned off into like sections to where you got, I don't know, Willowbrook homes, right? Then you got the next section, Carriage Farm homes, and you got the next section that's different homes, and then they're only separated by how much they cost. So you got houses that are 300K and less over here in this section, and then you got houses that are 500K and to 800K over here in this section, and then you got houses that are 800K to $1 million over here in this section, and that's a gated community. You can't even get in that bitch. And then you see what I'm saying? So you got all of these houses out there. So depending on where you live, you and your family, or whatever the case may be, you don't need to go nowhere outside of Woodbury. So you got a lot of people like that work at the hospitals. They work in the city in St. Paul, and then they live out in Woodbury. They make good money. They, got these big ass homes. They doing their thing. They shop, doctor, everything right there in Woodbury. Everything is right there in Woodbury. They don't need to go nowhere. Long story short, it's some people who, and this ain't a color thing. Honestly, I just want to be clear. This ain't a color thing, just calling out people who look like me. But this is a collective issue. I don't care if you white, or you got other people too who do this very thing. Hell, I just seen a video of this Indian lady, and I'm not talking about Indian as a Native American. I'm talking about the people with the red dots on their head, right? And in school, there was a narrative about those type of people. They were some of the smartest. They were, mentally really, really smart, and they were this and they were that. Man, listen, let me tell you something. They've been stealing. They've been doing stuff. So this is not a colorist thing. This is a collective thing where people get into positions and they're not prepared for these positions mentally and emotionally. They're just ready to make the physical shifts. They haven't made the mental shifts or the emotional shifts that need to happen before they get there. And when they get there, they struggle. This lady, this indie lady, she was in Target for 7 hours, cutting tags and switching tags in Target, trying to steal, getting ready to steal over $500 worth of stuff. This woman. And then she tried to say that she wasn't from this country. She had just got here on a plane, and she was just visiting, but she had a driver's license though in her wallet, and she was arguing up and down with the police officer about paying for the stuff. She's like, "Oh, I'm just pay for it." And it was like, "Bitch, we don't want your business. Okay?" So come to find out, this lady got this big ass house, all of these kids, and she's stealing. What you stealing for, shorty? And so this is what I wanted to talk about. Like, this is something that I recognize in myself, that I recognize in people in general. I can even think about over time, like, changes that I made physically, and where I did not prepare myself mentally and emotionally for these shifts, and I struggled because I didn't do the mental alchemy and the emotional alchemy to prepare myself for it. Okay, so I'm sure I got my point across, and I've said enough to explain the very thing that I want to talk about. Before I go any further, um, I do want to name this, but there's no way for me to. Hold on. I wonder if I can pause. I'm gonna pause it. Hold on. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Okay. So, what it is fragmentation. That is what it's called. It's called fragmentation. It's like just because your physical body moved timelines, you still left parts of yourself behind. And honestly, it's like it feels like okay, you do all of this work to get to a new space of succeeding. And what it is like, okay, it's a split upgrade. It's like when your life shifts, but you don't. It's like you do all of this work to make it, and you get there, and you still feel like something is missing. The thing that is missing is that you left parts of yourself behind. Just because you made it physically don't mean your mind came with you. Don't mean that your emotions came with you. And I want to bring up an image really quick. Hold on, y'all. I don't know which one it is. Perfect. This the one right here. Okay. Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all. I want to do something. Shoot. There we go. Okay. So I decided to bring this image up right here because I want to make a point. Okay. So you see the whole circle here. The whole circle, let's just identify the circle as me or a person, right? A person. The whole circle is representative of you, the person. And what I'm saying is there are different aspects of you, right? So you have your physical self right here. That's this slice of the pie, right? Of the whole. You have that aspect. Your emotional self. You have your physical body. You have I don't know, your finances, right? You have different aspects. I wouldn't even say finances. Let's take that out, X that out. But you have different aspects of yourself. You are multiple bodies in one, right? Hold on. I want to do something really quick, y'all. Perfect. All right. So while we're getting ready to do this next part of the segment, I'm talking about different aspects of the self. So I really wanted to pull over something that I put together for this. And here we go. Right here. Perfect. I'm just going to stack it right next to it. Okay. Boom. All right. So with this is what I'm talking about. This is the whole circle is symbolic for who you are as a person, right? This is your whole self. And the different slices of the whole is aspects of who you are. So you do all of this work, you go to college, you get the degree, you do the work, you get the job, you get the house, you get the husband, you have the babies, you're doing all of everything that society tells you that you're supposed to do. And once you get there, for some reason you feel like something is missing, right? What is that? This is what I'm breaking down. What is missing? So, aspects of the whole, aspects of you, aspects of me, or any human being. You have a physical body. That's one slice. You have your emotional body. That's the second slice. You have your mental body. That's the third slice. You have your energetic body. That's the fourth slice. You have your spiritual body. That's the fifth slice. You have your subconscious body. That's the sixth slice. And then you have your light body, your ascension body. Seventh slice. These are different aspects of the whole, which is the whole you. So sometimes in this physical world, we get told to do the physical work that is needed, but we don't do the emotional work, the mental work, the energetic work, the spiritual work, the subconscious work, the ascension work that needs to happen for all of ourselves to be moved. Where when you make a timeline shift, when you go from living in the hood to being a billionaire, that's a huge timeline shift. So, what I'm saying to you, Cardi B made a timeline shift where she did uh, physically, her physical body made the shift, but her emotional body didn't go with her. So now she's fragmented. She's missing pieces of herself. Oh my gosh, herself. And this is when people show up and it's like they're not fulfilled or they have voids or something is missing, right? And you see this a lot with men. Listen, you see this shit a lot with men. And this is where and why a lot of relationships in men suck right now. And I'm going to tell you why. Because men are physical, right? They are physical. By society's standards and masculine energy, they are always shifting timelines, jumping in the physical sense, but they're not doing the emotional work to shift emotionally. Most men don't even want to feel. They don't want to even acknowledge any level of feelings. They've numbed themselves completely out, which means they're disconnected from their inner truth. They're really disconnected from their relationships, their memory, and they lack vulnerability. It's interesting. I meditate all the time and I talk to spirit all the time. One thing that spirit did tell me was this: women, you came here knowing your divine feminine qualities. You know how to nurture. You know how to mother. You know what it takes to be a woman. But we have, that is like innate in us. We just know. We just know, right? As we grow up into adulthood, it is for us as women to activate that divine masculine energy in us. We already have the divine feminine energy. We have to sometimes remember who we are on that level. And that gives birth to our divine masculine energy and wake up the divine masculine qualities in us. So I already activated the divine feminine qualities. So now I have to ask myself a slew of certain questions to activate the divine masculine energy, right? So I'm asking myself questions like this. Okay, Trish, where do you feel like you would be overqualified as a leader? What are some purposes in the world where you would be okay fighting and dying on the hill for certain causes? What are some things that I deeply value and that are deeply in alignment with who I am on a feeling level, right? I'm asking myself certain questions to identify where is my leadership in this world? Where is my strategy going to be activated? Where am I going to build my infrastructure at? As a divine masculine, activating that energy within myself, because we are both, no matter what your genitalia is, as a woman or a born woman or a born man, it doesn't matter. We both have divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy in each one of our bodies. So the moment that a man does not do the work to activate his divine feminine energy, he's doing himself a disservice. Wholeheartedly. He is doing himself a disservice. So, as a woman, that is what we're supposed to do. So, as a man, they're supposed to do the very opposite of that. They are already born with the divine masculine energy, leadership qualities. That energy is activated. So they just have to remember who they are there. And then what they are supposed to do is they are supposed to identify what are some things in life that makes them soft. What are some things in life that they care about the most that make them feel vulnerable? A man is supposed to identify that. And if he does not, if he ignores that, he will go through life feeling a void, a emptiness, and then he will manipulate and use women and observe you and your emotions about him to not even feel the emotions, but witness them. And when he's witnessing them, he's siphoning them. And he's utilizing them for himself. And he's drawing from you and pulling to himself. And I just posted something like this on my social media earlier. Hold on, I'm going to see. You know what? I'm going to take a screenshot. Hold on one second, y'all. Because I don't want this video to be too crazy long. So I'm going to pause it again. Okay, I'm back. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Too many dead people walking around. No empathy, no emotional intelligence, no good intentions for anyone, just looking to covet people's energy and sabotage whoever they can covet or manipulate. And that is the majority of men right there. They're fucking zombies. That is why it sucks in relationships right now. Because the men are not doing the spiritual work that they need to do to collect themselves. They are split. Have you ever seen that movie, Split? This is exactly what men today remind me of. They remind me, this is exactly what it is. They're fragmented. They are extremely fragmented. And you don't know who you're going to get. They literally... Hold on, y'all. Okay. There we go. They literally are split. Split personality disorder. Thank you. Like, what? What am I trying to say? Split personality disorder. And this is why they have their hands in so many pots. This is why so many men are on the DL. This is why right here, because this is how they're walking around. Split personality disorder. They're struggling. And the reason for that, hold on. Let me see, y'all. No, that's not it. This could be it. No. trying to pull one more because I want to show. Ooh, I want to show this next one up here. But it's not showing. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's one more that I want to show. It's image 5. And boom. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. We talked about that. We even talked about this too. We don't need to continue to show that. I think this is it. Boom. Okay. And this is exactly what the heck is going on right here. This is exactly what's going on right here, y'all. You don't know who the hell you're dealing with, because most people, society teaches us not to be ourselves. Society doesn't teach us to be ourselves, right? So I get why we struggle. This is why I'm unpacking this, because society doesn't teach us to be ourselves. They teach us to be what society needs, what helps society thrive. So who you are and what you need don't matter. Anytime that a woman is saying, hey, I get bad period cramps, I have heavy flow, I need to stay at home during my period. Oh, you're lazy. You just don't want to work. Take some NSAIDs, Tylenol or ibuprofen, some Midol, get a fucking heat pack, and take your ass to work. We don't give a fuck. They don't care about you. Oh, you're having a mental breakdown. Oh, they don't care about you. You just had a baby. Oh, fuck. You just get a couple weeks off. Take your ass back to work. It's not about you. Society doesn't give a fuck about you. This is why people are dying early. Early graves. They're meeting early graves. Because we're not taking care of ourselves. We're taking care of the world around us. But even now, the world around us is struggling. And it shows because we are struggling as a collective. We are struggling. Right? And so you see so many people, we're walking around with all of these masks on. Split personality disorder. Code switching. Over here, we're this. Over here, we're that. Over here, we're this. We're a different person. We wear a different mask. At home, we wear a mask. One mask. And when we're at work, we wear another mask. When we with our man, we wear a different mask. When we're with our homegirls, we wear a different mask. We got all of these. We're so fragmented and we're so broken. We got all of these different personality shifts. And you wonder why we suffer with Alzheimer's. Why is that a thing? Why does our brain one day just start forgetting shit? Dementia. Why does our memory just go? Why? Because we got too much going on. It's a system fucking overload. Just like a computer can only take so much, our brains are like computers. It can only take so much. And your programming, our programming is all over the place. But when the mask falls, it's not pretty. And this is what's happening in society today. There's so much going on, y'all. And I know I'm all over the place. But I'm going to bring it all the way back. But all of this stuff is like so important. It's just stuff that I've just connected. I'm connecting dots in my mind. Because all of this shit is connected. All of it is connected. It literally is. And you got people cracking. And it used to be a time where people got to 50, 60 years old. Oh, he's having a midlife crisis. He dyed his hair blue. Oh, poor Johnny. Now, no, baby. 10-year-olds are cracking. They can't keep up the facade, is what I'm saying. The facades are breaking. The facades are breaking. The masks, the facades, all the same shit. It's breaking. Our programming, it's breaking. The way our mamas taught us, our daddies taught us, the schools taught us, the government taught us how to act, the programming, the being fake, putting society first, putting the world first. The shit is cracking. The kids, if they don't want to go to school, if we didn't want to go to school, we still took our ass to school. We just hated our lives. Nowadays, kids are not wanting to go to school and they not going to school. They say, okay, bitch, you gonna make me go to school? I'm gonna kill the whole school. I'm gonna take everybody down. Everybody going down. Right? So now, it's different. I've been seeing stuff like news headlines. I've been paying attention so much stuff. A 15-year-old boy shot his 8-year-old brother and his 44-year-old mama in the head, and he raped his 44-year-old mama. A 16-year-old set a patch of grass on fire. Call the firefighters to come fight the fire. Then when they got there, he shot and killed 3 of them and ambushed them. Just on a hill, shooting on a shootout with firefighters. What the fuck? Like, what the firefighters do? Countless mass shootings. Okay. It's something every other day. People are losing their masks. The facades. We get told, when we get thoughts and ideas that are not in the best interest of anybody, to push them away. So those things get buried. They get buried. You know where they get buried at? Hold on. Is this it? No. No. They get buried in your subconscious body. And they get locked behind a door. I call it the forbidden door. And what happens is when somebody triggers your ass, when somebody triggers your emotional body, what happens is that fucking forbidden door that's in your subconscious body cracks. You know what that crack looks like? It looks like these cracks. It cracks. And what happens? Yo ass crack. And this is when you start doing physical harm, either to yourself or to others. And this is what's going on. I pay attention to shit. And I've been, once again, calculating, connecting dots, seeing how everything, like, what the fuck is going on with people? What is going on? We are all dealing with split personality disorders, fam. There's different parts of ourselves that we have left behind, and we have not retrieved fragments of ourselves. We have not retrieved the fragments of ourselves to be in our whole state. Our whole state. In the whole state, what that looks like is this. Say, for example, this circle is symbolic for a person. And say you are not, I remember my grandma and them used to say shit like, oh, that girl not dealing with a full deck. Or that girl, something wrong with that girl. Or that young man ain't dealing with a full deck. He ain't all there. Right? I used to hear the elders and them talk like that. Playing spades and shit in the kitchen. Just had a fish fry type shit. I used to hear them talk about stuff like that. And I didn't understand what the hell they was saying at first. But I used to listen, observe, always been observative. What they was saying is, the physical body is here, right? The physical body is here. But They mind is somewhere else on a whole nother planet. The physical body is on Earth. The emotional body is on Mars. The mental body is in Venus. The energetic body is in the great fucking beyond. Right. We see the physical body, but they not all there. Right? So they're split. And so when you yourself experience, oh my God, I've been working hard, I've been doing the work, I want to get to this place, I want to do this, and you finally make it, and you like, I bought the house, I'm married, I'm pregnant with my first baby, I got my dream business, everything is everything. Oh my God, this is beautiful. And 3 months go past, and all of a sudden, you like, something is missing. What is it? This is everything I wanted, right? Baby, I have been there. Let me tell you. Listen, I have been there like, oh my God, I got everything I ever wanted, but something's still missing. It was some part of myself that was missing. And so that requires work to retrieve yourself. So let's just talk about these different things really quick, because the physical body, this is your flesh, your bones, your organs, how you move in the world, right? This is your action, your presence, your survival, your pleasure, your pain, how you move, your movement. This is the physical body. We mostly work on that. We working out, we getting jobs, we doing the physical actions. The emotional body, this is our feelings, our grief, joy, shame, love, etc. This is our truth, our inner truth, inside of ourselves. This is our truth. So this is your individual truth. Has nothing to do with nobody else. Did I say it was your neighbor's truth? No. Did I say it was the world's truth? No. It's your truth. Your truth is separate from everybody else's. Because sometimes people get that shit twisted. This is where you're vulnerable at. This is where your relationships come from. How you decide to connect or disconnect. Your memory storage. There's a book. I don't think I have it. Hold on, y'all. I got a library on the wall. Let me see. Here we go. I'm like, I know I got this. Hold on, y'all. My bad. Hold on. I just seen it. Here we go. This I pulled one damn book out. The whole goddamn library decided to fall. Damn. Hold on, y'all. I gotta put it on pause. Alright, I'm back. Okay. What I'm talking about is, okay, the body keeps the score. Brain, mind, and body in the healing of trauma. This book, get this book. Listen, I never understood how the experiences that we go through, our body literally keeps score of everything. Our mind, our brain, our body, it keeps the score of everything that ever happened to us. It really does. So it has a lot to do with our memory and how our body stores memory. Like your kids, a lot of times we don't remember the things that didn't have a huge emotional impact on us. But we remember the things that hurt us the most. Those things we always remember no matter how old we get. Like, for example, this is some real shit. And for some reason I used to do this when I was younger with my son. And this is because he used to be like, because I homeschool, and he's like, used to be like, oh no. I'm like, what is it? I don't know. It was his like favorite word. So I'm like, okay. I just automatically knew if I pinched him a little bit. I ain't saying it was right. Okay. But I used to like pinch him, and he's like, ow. And I'm like, and I used to say something that was very important, not pinch him hard, but I used to pinch him a little bit. He's like, ow. And he used to be like, I used to ask him something or give him some solid information that I needed him to remember. And for some reason, in that moment when I pinched him and pain was activated, his memory was activated. There's something about your pain receptors and your memory that's connected. And so, another thing I used to do that I realized too that activated his memory was physical activity, right? So, if we had a ball and I made him like jump up and throw the ball, and I was like, I would give him a word like, I don't know, spell vulnerable. And I would jump up and throw the ball to him down the hallway, and he had to like shot and jumped up and okay, it's working out. Okay. So he would have to jump up to the point where he catch the ball, and for some reason it activated his memory. It activated his memory. So I was observing, like analyzing patterns and how certain things activated his memory more than others did. And so this is where I realized it is asinine for schools today to make our boys and girls sit in a fucking desk all damn day and do homework and think they're supposed to memorize it. Listen, no, no, no. That is not how our bodies work. That is not how our bodies work. It is not. So if the school is based off memory, think about it. Most schools are not based off real critical thinking skills. It's based off of your ability to memorize. It's not based off your ability to conceptualize. And critical thinking is based off of memory. Can you remember these facts? Can you remember this process? Can you remember these protocols? That's what school today is based off of, literally. Bogging your memory down. So the fact that they want to activate the memory, but they're not using the physical body to help them do it. Gym class and the memory receptors need to be a thing. They need to be grouped together. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Yeah, the average child is going to fail. I'm sorry, but it's going to happen. If you are not having the kids walk on a spiky mat, practicing vocabulary words, it's not going to work. I'm sorry. I have been observing this shit. and my own child experimenting with things, and I recognize the patterns. Anywho, back to what I was saying here. We talked about the emotional body. The mental body is your thoughts, your beliefs, your logic, your judgment, scripts, mindset. It represents your mindset, decision making, perception, mental loops. So this is interesting. Say, for example, you have a breakup with somebody. It's been 8 months, but that person still lives in your head rent free. That's called a mental loop. But you keep asking for a new relationship. What happens is you magnetize and manifest a different person, but the same spirit over and over again. Because you have not brought your mental body to the new relationship. I'm going to tell you a solution on how to do this. When that person pops up in your head rent free, you start memorizing how he touched you, how you guys plan this, and fantasies, and you get into your limerence stage, ladies. What you need to do is you need to offset that shit. How you can do that? is you can start doing something like, for example, EFT tapping. So you have something called a lymphatic system, right? That's where those mental loops lie. Your lymphatic system. Hell, most people got a vibration plate. Stand on your fucking vibration plate and shake some shit up. Or get a massage gun and just, you ain't even got, or you can use your fingertips and tap along your lymphatic system. You can Google it, where your lymphatic system is. Right? So you tap in around your lymphatic system and you're saying things like, I deserve better. I imagine myself, I am in a relationship, or I imagine myself in a relationship with somebody who treats me XYZ. I imagine myself having great conversations with my partner. I imagine myself in the kitchen cooking and me and my partner are laughing. I imagine me being in a relationship with somebody who doesn't have masks. I imagine myself being in a relationship with somebody who have healed their voids in a way that is safe for me and them in our relationship, our home, our family. I imagine myself being with somebody who I can build with. You're when that person pops up in your head rent free, you are offsetting that to bring, you are gathering fragments of yourself and you are pulling it to your present self. You understand? I deserve better. But you're also setting a GPS navigation system for your mental body and where it's getting ready to go. You understand? You're more in control of yourself than you think you are. Because if you don't do the work, nobody's going to save you. I'm sorry, but Jesus is not going to come to your door and knock on your door and say, hey, Ashley, I'm here to help you gather your fragments of your mind. No, 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 no. You got to do the fucking work. You can't be distracted looking at fucking Love Island on the couch and thinking you finna get this designed person. Nobody's gonna do it for you. That's just TV. It's just TV. This is real life. This is reality. And if you don't do the work, Ashley, it's not gonna be done. Period. So you have to retrieve your mental body because you left a piece of yourself with that person. This is why you're in a new relationship and you're constantly still thinking about the past relationship. This person don't hit quite like how this one did. This person did this, but this person ain't doing shit. Or you're comparing in your mind like, listen, it's things. Stuck in mental loops, right? Or your perception of what's right and wrong is off. How you make decisions, all of that. Think about the nurse who was in Target stealing. Her decision making was coming from a survival mode, not thriving mode. Her circumstances and her finances wasn't thriving, but her logic was still in survival mode and the decisions that she was making to steal. And you see where that got her physical body at, right? Energetic body, and I'm gonna land my plane in a minute, y'all. Your energetic body, your field, your frequency, magnetism, protection layer represents vibes, attraction, spiritual hygiene, energetic boundaries, right? This is the stuff that you vibe with. So, for example, I'm the type of person, I don't vibe how everybody else vibe. I have a rare way of vibing with things. I usually don't vibe a whole lot with, like you would never catch me at, what do they call it? Where they be damn boots on the ground. You would never catch me there, ever. It doesn't mean something is wrong with that. It's not, but it's just not my vibe. My vibe is I got a chemistry lab and I got all of these ingredients where I'm over here making my own medications. I'm making my own vitamins, enzymes, nutrients, things to help my digestive system work better. Like my mind is scientific. I'm like Dexter in real life. Dexter's Laboratory. If you a Nickelodeon fan, if you a Cartoon Network fan from like back in the day, mm-hmm. That's me. That's me. That's me. Get out of my lab, DW. Look, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But that's where you gonna catch me. Most other people be like, you gonna catch me outside. Baby, look, I barely been outside this summer. I ain't been to no events. I ain't been to nothing. Is it because it's just not my vibe? It's just not my vibe. And that's okay, right? But I do the things that I vibe with, you see. And so, what I'm saying, I gathered my energetic body because I used to force myself to go do things like that. And then when I would get there, I felt out of place or I didn't quite have a good time. And I was like, that was a waste of money. That was a waste of time. Or something crazy happens because I didn't belong there. I shouldn't have been there because I don't belong there. I don't even vibe with that. But I only went because people who look like me were there. But I don't vibe with it. So I had to change my vibe. Now I have two glass laboratories and I put them together. I got this whole big ass lab. And I be over here experimenting, making my own pills, making my own vitamins. I'm at the place where, look, I'm making my own toothpaste. I'm making my own deodorant. I'm making my own skin moisturizers. I'm making my own everything. I'm gonna eventually get to the point where I make my own cleaners, where I make my own line of cleaners and dish detergents and washing detergents, laundry detergents and stuff, y'all. I'm in there. I'm excited because I enjoy that. That is my vibe. My energetic body be like, yeah, we are here. You understand what I'm saying? So when my energetic body and my physical body link up, oh, it's a party, it's a party, it's a party. But it ain't the type of party that most people enjoy. You understand? But I vibe with where I vibe energetically. That's where I vibe, right? So hold on, I'm gonna show y'all a couple of my products. Hold on. Okay, boom. So I made my own. I don't know if y'all be able to see it because that light is bright. Ugh. It's gonna show up. It's gonna show up weird. Okay. Trisha's homemade body butter. And so I made my own body butter. I even, baby, listen, I even order my own like fragrances and everything and play with like different fragrances. Sometimes I use essential oils too. I make my own essential oils, like whole 9 yards. I got my own not toothpaste. Oh my gosh, deodorants right here. I haven't labeled this one yet, but I make my own deodorant sticks. I make one for me. I make one for my son, and I use like different scents for boys, like sandalwood, different things like that. Men odors, and then I use one for women. This one I use different stuff like this one. I think this one is cashmere. Like I used a cashmere scent with this one. It's fire. Okay. And then I make my own toothpaste, homemade. Let's see, homemade toothpaste, right? And I always use dark amber glass just because energetically certain ingredients that I use, I don't want them coming in contact with the sun because it makes the ingredients not work as good. See, I got the things on there. Top, everything is everything. Let's see. Yeah, so my own toothpaste, and this one right here is spearmint flavor. So, yeah. So, and then this one also repairs cavities and all kinds of stuff. So, I haven't started selling anything yet because I'm still experimenting, but I'm going to get to the place where I have my own store. But right now, I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. This is my fun. I enjoy myself when I'm doing this type of stuff. But that's where I vibe energetically, y'all. That's all I did all of that to say. That's where I vibe. That's my aura. And so attraction. So where I vibe is where I attract. Where I vibe is also where I'm magnetic, right? So when I'm doing these things, when I'm connecting with people, I'm connecting with people on the base of business. I'm connecting with people on the base of this stuff. 9 times out of 10, this is the stuff that people are going to end up asking about, especially if they reach this part in the video. They're going to be asking about these products. Oh my God, how do I buy? How do I? Because that's where I magnetize, because my energy is in there. So when I'm like high vibrational, I'm like, look, y'all see my teeth? My okay, so I gotta just tell y'all this real quick. So my teeth were demineralizing, which meaning I didn't have enough minerals, and so I had like these streaky lines on my teeth. I don't have them anymore, and also my teeth is more white, and then I was having like pain in my gums, and I had like two cavities. Listen, it was a whole thing before I made this toothpaste. This is only my second batch. The first batch, I used it all, me and my son. It lasted us for like a month. So this is the second month I'm using this. And I have the same ingredients, all except for two. And I want to try it without the other two ingredients just to see how these work. So, but listen, not only is my teeth whiter, I had instant relief from pain. Instant relief from pain, right? Instant relief from cavity pain. My gums were hurting. They're no longer hurting. So it's just things, y'all. It's just things. So that's where my magnetism is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Let's make it to the next one. Number 5, spiritual body, soul layer, the eternal you, the divine assignment carrier, represents intuition, purpose, contracts, sacred memory, which means like memory that doesn't come from this lifetime, connection to source, right? Subconscious body, shadow inner programmer, the hidden scripts and suppressed parts of you, trauma loops, childhood wiring, inner child, protector aspects, light body, ascension body, optional depending on your tone, the crystalline evolved self, your becoming, future codes, your multidimensional upgrades, higher frequency blueprint. So these are all the aspects of yourself. What I am trying to say, do you see how this is either can be seen as coming in or out? This aspect of yourself. What I'm saying is when you collect all of these aspects of yourself and you pull them together, you function in your whole self, which is the whole circle. You function in your whole self. When you're missing an aspect of yourself and it's not in alignment with your whole self, that is the problem. Where we feel like something is missing. We feel a void. That's called a void. And what I am saying is I've given you some examples of how to gather yourself, but you can also do the work on what it takes to gather other aspects of yourself. Meditate on that, so you can show up more in your whole self. And I'm going to end the live there. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed this live. Oh God, it's an hour and 14 minutes. But if you made it this far, put a red heart in the comments section so I know you were here. And to support the channel, you can donate at Authenticity is Key 7. That is on Cash App. Thank you guys for watching, and Patreon is coming soon.